welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast. How are you
Thank you
doing
so
today?
much for having me. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just taking time to kind of just get grounded with all the craziness going on, and but I'm doing all right.
Yeah, yeah. How has 2020 been for you? I mean, if you can even put that into a few sentences.
That's funny. I was reflecting on it this morning actually because New Year's Eve, 2019, it was very much like, yes, 2020, new decade, new year. This is the time for transformation, and well, it kind of has been in a way. And there was this real, I suppose, emphasis on 2020 being, new decade, like this is a time to do whatever you want and manifest in abundance. But it's definitely been very different. I'd say quite an emotional roller coaster. A lot of uncertainty, anxiety, fear, loss of control, so many things, but also some really deep work, some really deep inner work, deep healing. And with that comes growth and transformation, and really, I think, streamlining what's important, what's not, how do you want to live, how do I want to live my life and go forward. So yeah, it's been a lot of decluttering, clarity, deep healing, emotions.
Yeah,
a lot of things.
yeah. So, yeah, it's definitely not what we thought it was, but there's still lots to be had in this year. There's still lots of interesting things happening, I guess, but it's not what we had planned
Yeah.
potentially.
It's also gone, even though it's gone really fast. I can't believe now it's the last 3 months, actually.
Yeah.
It's in a strange way. It feels like so much has happened this year, but it's also it's really fast. And yeah,
It's going to be
I'll be quite happy
interesting.
to see the back of
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how we look back at this year and make sense of it all and find what it really meant. But yeah, I'd love to know. Can you share a little bit about what you do and how you got to where you are today, and just to share for the listeners a bit about how we met? I think we met at a breathwork
Yes,
class.
with Rebecca.
Yeah, with Rebecca Dennis,
Rebecca
who's been
Dennis.
on the podcast as well. And I think we then bumped into each other a few more times at different
That's
events and
right.
things. And yeah, and now we're speaking now, which is wonderful. So
Yes.
yeah, please do tell us more about, where you're, a bit about your journey and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So I'd say what I do now is I work with entrepreneurs, creatives, business leaders, and using a very multidisciplinary approach to help. There's three things I like to say that I do is recalibrate their energy, upgrade their health, and lead with vibrancy. So my philosophy is very much that we need to have a strong foundation of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health in order to open up all areas of our life and at lives and thrive. So that means looking at nutrition, lifestyle, emotions, our thoughts, how the organs are functioning, a real approach, a real holistic health approach. How I got there? Well, I've always worked in fitness and well-being and health. Starting 20 years ago, I started off in fitness and working in gyms and personal training, which I loved. But it's very much the physical approach within at the time within the fitness industry is very much about lose weight, strip your abs for your I don't know, wedding or whatever, and eat what to eat in order to burn fat. And I loved what I did. And I always had a bit of a holistic approach and worked with the body and doing massage. But after about 10, 15 years, I was running around like a headless chicken. I was thriving on the adrenaline. I was always on the go. I was constantly on the go, doing everything, teaching classes, working all hours of the day. The busiest time for personal training is before 9 a.m, 6:30 a.m. till 9, and then in the evening. So 10, 15 years of that, I started to get burnt out. And I also grew real interest into the link between stress, hormonal health, and adrenal fatigue, because I was seeing it in a lot of my clients, and then I was experiencing it myself just from being on the go. And so I really sort of delved quite deep into that and started to bring that into my work and with my clients anyway. And then I think just on my own journey, hitting a crossroads, hitting into my 30s and going, I don't want to run around like this anymore. I'm burnt out. The pressures of where I'm meant to be in your 30s, and I should be settling down and doing this. So I was putting a lot of pressure on myself and creating a lot of anxiety. And then just through various different training modalities, I went off to India for 2 months and did my yoga teacher training, and it was a very healing time for me. And then had a very few very profound awakenings where I trained in a bodywork technique with a South African man called Douglas Hill, which is very much about what's in our mind is in our physiology, and how physiology impacts our mind and our behavior and how we think, feel and behave. And a lot of it was working with the diaphragm and breathing, and how everything sort of tells a story. And I was like, my body, the feedback my body was giving from the muscle testing was that I was complete exhaustion. And it was almost like that weekend, my whole nervous system was being rewired, to the point I can only describe. For about a week afterwards, I felt like I was drunk, and everything was in slow motion as my whole nervous system was reconfiguring itself. And I'd realised how scattered my thinking had been. I mean, I was thinking about it this morning, that after that, the training in that, and I remember I had driven there and I was in a car park. I couldn't find my way out of the car park. I was driving around in circles. And I couldn't find the exit, and I thought, oh my gosh, I shouldn't be driving. I feel like I'm drunk. What's going on? And it was like, literally my system had switched from this go, go, go adrenaline to this real force to just slow down and reevaluate the pace that I was living. And then I kind of became very evangelical about it, wanted to tell everyone and work with everyone. And so that led me on to also the breath work, transformational breath, and there was a real overlap there, and then the continuation studying with the Czech Institute and holistic health coaching principles and holistic lifestyle, and then just starting to bring all of that in with my clients. And then seeing an epidemic of burnout in the last 5-10 years. Generally, most people burn out, chronic fatigue, or autoimmune disease. And so then my work just really tailored much more towards holistic health, holistic healing and well-being.
Amazing. And it's so interesting how many people are talking about burnout now. I'm sure a few years ago it was this sort of fringe idea that probably a lot of people were struggling with, but no one really talked about. And now so many people are coming forward and saying, actually, I've experienced this.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think, Chloe, the reason I didn't acknowledge that I was experiencing that as well is because I was genuinely happy. I was loving what I was doing. So I wasn't down about what I was doing. Felt like my purpose. But I also had the belief that because I was into fitness and health, that I couldn't get tired. Like, I think people see you as this like constant sort of, oh, you've got great energy and like you're on the like you're fit, you're healthy. So I didn't give myself permission to rest. And I think that's also another deep belief of having to be busy to fill the space. And so I didn't give myself permission to rest, but over time your body talks, and it will give you a warning sign big time if you're not listening. And so really that's what happened, feeling anxiety, having meltdowns, and then just going, this just doesn't feel right. It's not in alignment with me anymore.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, I wonder if there are lots of people listening who maybe identify with maybe being the positive, energetic person, or the strong one that that keeps going, and or the successful one that has to always be the next thing, and how these kind of identities that we have can sort of keep us stuck in a way, or disconnect us from our bodies because we're kind of just stuck with this identity.
Yeah, it's so true. So true. I think so many people feel that, especially women as well. We have so many roles to play in life at the moment, but we're just not designed that way. Like, there has to be the yin and the yang. There has to be the balance. There has to be the doing and the being. And that's something that I really, really learned. I was always doing. It's still a reminder to me every day. Take time to be still, because that's where the restoration is. That's where you open to creativity. In that being mode, in that stillness mode, you replenish.
That's such a big lesson for so many of us, myself included.
Myself included. It's always a reminder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always.
I was really curious. You talk in your book, Self-Care for Life in the City, about abdominal massage. And I was so curious about this. Can you share what that is?
Yeah, I came across this as quite a long time ago now, actually, and I was reflecting on it this morning with your questions. And how did I get into that? Actually, my mum's always been into holistic health and well-being, and it was something that she experienced. She goes, "Oh, this was really good." So I went along and I did the training, and I was trained in massage before. I was trained in sports massage, and what's really interesting is that in massage, you're taught kind of to work with the limbs and the neck and the shoulders, and this whole area is missed out, the whole trunk, and this is where the goodness is. I mean, organ health, we have our organs here, breathing. And for me, I was and going with the breath work that I've trained in, I realized, because I worked in fitness as well, but I was always a bracer. I was always holding my abs in tight. I was always engaging, like clenching almost, but I didn't need to carry on doing that throughout my resting day, but it was just habitual, and really it's a defense mechanism, and I wasn't aware of it. So having work on the abdomen was really healing, because we have our serotonin is made in the colon, our immune system is in the gut, and all of our organs here as well. So you're increasing the vitality, the life force to the organs. And again, it was another aha moment for me, where it was like, wow, something is just slamming me into this slow down mode. What's going on? And I remember, again, after having some work on abdominal massage, I was meant to go and meet my girlfriends and go out. And I was just, my mind, and body was just saying, no, don't do that. Just cancel, be still. I just want to do nothing. And then just allow this creativity and ideas to flow through. And I was like, what's going on? Yeah, it's really key. And especially for so many people with gut issues, constipation. And constipation is, especially if they're feeling a little bit stuck in life, then things are not going to be flowing as much. Digestion may not be flowing as much. So it's not only profound physically, but mentally, emotionally as well.
Yeah,
so
and I know that's so
really fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose so many people that I speak to with anxiety, they might have IBS alongside that, where they're holding on to a lot of tension there, or just even like the clothes that we so often wear. I was just thinking about like my leggings now. Like, I'm pretty sure my leggings are like constricting my stomach like a lot of the time. Maybe that's not very healthy.
Do you know what as well? Because I used to wear like the tight sports bras as well, and that was constricting my diaphragm to breathe. So I have to stop. Stop all of that now, or I feel if I am wearing something that's slightly tight around the diaphragm, I feel really uncomfortable. I will feel really uncomfortable. In fact, I don't usually wear it now, but I had to sort of change change my wardrobe slightly, especially within fitness wear. It's a lot of it is very like constricting you in.
Yes.
And I'd feel really constricted. It's like, oh, I can't actually breathe properly in this.
Yeah, it is. Just out of interest, is abdominal massage, is that something people can do themselves, or is that something that you would go and have a treatment of from someone, would you say?
Both. They could have a treatment from someone, and then they can learn to do it themselves. Right to left is a direction of digestion, so you always want to start on the lower right corner. Are you doing it now? And then work up across the top of the ribs or diaphragm, and then back down. Yeah.
So it's like a clockwise. Is it clockwise?
Hang on, is it clockwise? Depends which way you're facing, isn't it? It is clockwise, yes.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm going to try
Clockwise,
this.
that's right.
Thousands of people are now giving themselves a abdominal massage.
Abdominal massage, yes. And yeah, it's so interesting because in learning sports massage, it was like, you don't touch this area. But in other traditions like Ayurvedic and other sort of Chinese medicine, they work a lot with the stomach, with the guts, because all the organs are here, and the organs connect to our emotional health as well and have an effect. So, yeah.
So interesting. Can you share a little bit about what are the self-care practices that you use in your daily life, and what are the things that help you the most?
I do rotate them quite a bit, actually, depending on sort of how I'm feeling that day. But I'd say what's been a blessing about this time is having more time to spend that time in the morning to do my own practices, more time at home so that I can engage in the self-care that's needed. But one of them is that I found really key during this time is walking in nature. That's always been one for me, but I've had more time to do it and go to the park, and I've just realised how inherent that is. I mean, I just live on the I suppose out suburbs of London, but I don't have a garden, so actually getting outside and going to the park, and it does something where it just expands your mind. Just seeing the vision of it expansion of nature is very healing in itself, and just taking that quiet time. Meditation as well is a non-negotiable for me. Every day or every morning I'll meditate. That really helps to set my energy for the day, bring me more present and grounded.
What sort of meditation do you do? Can you share a bit about?
I used to do a Vedic meditation, which is a mantra meditation. But now I just take 20 minutes of seated, quiet stillness, just allowing my thoughts to slow down and breathe. So just a 20-minute silent meditation. Breath work, breathing as well in the morning. But there's almost like, sometimes you can't do everything in one day. So I'll rotate. But there's some of the key ones that I go to: breathing, meditation, walking in nature, moving my body, so exercise, doing some home exercise, to be honest, and walk in nature, I think, is the one.
I think something's happening in London at the moment where everyone is leaving, everyone is moving to the countryside, right? Everyone is like, right, I need a garden if we're going to go into lockdown again. I have so many people saying that I think we've rediscovered our need for nature in this time.
Do you know a lot of people who've moved out as well?
Yes,
already?
yeah. I'm leaving as well. We're leaving on the 30th of October.
Where are you heading to?
Well, that remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. It's going to be a bit of we're going to be nomadic for a while.
Nice.
I don't actually know. Probably going to end up in the north of England, be near our families eventually. But maybe somewhere else before that. But we'll see.
Lovely. Yes, I'm also feeling that urge. Hopefully, my partner lives just in Kent, so I'm foreseeing somewhere next year.
Yeah. Amazing. What else was I going to ask about this? I was talking to a client the other day and she was saying, I could almost spend about 5 hours a day just doing my self-care practices and then I'd have no time for anything else. Um, for people that are thinking, you know what, I'd love to do meditation and walk in nature and breath work and things, but I just don't feel like I've got the time, or I don't know, maybe they
Yeah.
don't have the time, maybe they've got kids,
Yes. Yeah.
maybe they are telling themselves they don't have the time, but it's actually something else. It's like a motivation thing. What do you have
Yeah.
advice for people in those positions?
Yes, definitely. Do you know what? I mean, I have some clients as well. I've got really busy lifestyles, and I have one client he has got 3 kids. He's a dentist who sees a lot of patients in a day. And so he was always like, no, I just get up and have coffee and I don't really have time for that. And I said, but actually for you, with the amount that you're holding, all the clients that you're seeing, especially clients who are coming, who are quite anxious and maybe having dental surgery, your busyness, your 3 kids, make it a priority, even just 5 minutes. Because then the place that you serve from in your relationship, with the place that you serve from with your kids, and the place that you serve from in your work and with your clients, you'll be much more grounded, more present, and not necessarily taking on getting swept into the chaos of go, 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 where you're not present. So when we reframed it that way, it's like, okay, I can do 5 minutes. And so now he takes 5 minutes before the kids wake up and before everything starts going and school runs and stuff, or home educating even. He just spends 5 minutes to maybe stretch or just breathe, deep breathing. And that feels manageable, and it shifts. Even the 5 minutes, his day is different. He's already set himself to be grounded and present and manage his own energy first before getting pulled into everything else. So I say 5 minutes. And number one thing as well that I'd say is, if you're super, super, super busy, one thing is avoid looking at your phone first thing. That's such a distraction. Checking the emails, your to-do list, your go-to. You wake up in that state and you've already got a busy day ahead. You go straight to your phone. It's like alert, notifications. You're giving your energy away to that before you've even served yourself. So even if it was wake up, okay, I'm going to have some water now, brush my teeth, wash my face. You know, even if you didn't have that time to meditate, which I believe everyone has 5 minutes, but at least take the phone off. Don't make the phone the first thing you go to.
That's such a powerful one. And I have to admit, it's something that I've only recently done. Yeah, I'm a bit ashamed to admit this, but up until recently, I was checking my phone first thing. And then I had an experience where I read, someone has DM'd me on Instagram, and it was not a very nice message. And it basically ruined my morning. I was like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing that again. Why would I do that to myself? And so now I don't check it until after I've done my meditation and gotten up and I'm fully awake. And I have even deleted the Gmail app from my phone in the last couple of weeks. And that's also been a game changer as well, because I don't need to check my email, 100 times a day on the go. I'm at home most of the time anyway, so I can go on my laptop if I need to. But yeah,
it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, I'm still guilty of doing it sometimes as well. But just the amount of notifications that come through our phone, I'm slowly just turning them off now and deleting apps and things. So it's just can be a bombardment.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you say a bit more? Because I know you mentioned this in the book about, tuning into our values and our priorities, and how this can really just get lost. And it's actually something that often we don't think about, I think.
Yeah, it's so key. And so one of the things I work with my clients is getting clear on the top 3 priorities. And I remember when I was doing it for myself through my own teaching, I was like, I don't actually know what they are. And and the top priorities are those external principles. So it might be your family, your health, your work, your purpose, or whatever really connects for you. And I think when we get clear on what our priorities are, then we can start to monitor or become consciously aware of whether our behavior is in alignment with our priorities. But if we're not clear on what our priorities are, then it's almost like your energy is just getting pulled in so many different directions. There's no compass to navigate the direction that you're going. Also goes the same for what are you spending your money on? Is it in alignment with your priorities and your values, or is it just being leaked to so many things that aren't really in alignment with you? And so that's a real game changer. It's a real game changer for me, and I'm happy to share what my priorities are. Like the number one is my health. Two is living with passion and purpose. So doing work that inspires me, growth, development, because that fuels a passion within me. Learning, I love learning. And the third one is relationships, so connections to people, intimate relationship, and friendships, family relationships. And so I'm clear now that if just seeing is what I'm doing or what I'm saying yes to, is it in alignment with these things, or is it like nothing to do with that or far away from it? So it gets clearer, because sometimes we say yes to things when really it's a no. So now I'm much clearer on, actually, I don't want to do this because that's going to impact my health, and that's my number one priority. So that kind of goes against it. Why am I saying yes to that? And then values are, how am I going to, these internalized principles that you live by that guide you to work with those priorities. So for my health, it's making sure I'm having boundaries of the times that I work, so that I'm not working early. I stopped doing the whole early mornings, evenings years ago, because that burnt me out, doing all that in every day, each day. Maybe I'll do it once a week or so, but I won't do both. What do I need to do to prioritize my health? So meditate every day is a non-negotiable, because that sets up my energy, it calms my mind, it brings some stillness so that I can have the capacity to do what I want to do. Living with passion and purpose, what inspires me. Okay, I'll spend my money on things that are bringing me investment in my health, or that a course that I want to do that is investing in my growth, or passion, something that inspires me to keep me learning, or travel once upon a time. I think when you get really clear, you can start to actually walk the path that is in alignment with you.
I love that. It's so key. And I just really want to encourage people listening to ask themselves those questions and get clear on that, because it can make such a difference. And just wanted to quote something from your book. Begin thinking of time and energy as your most valuable commodities. You can never get back your time. Once it's gone, it's gone. Choose how you spend your time wisely. And I hope people can really remember that as well. What is how do you define success? Because success it's kind of a funny one, isn't it? Because it is something that probably is different for everyone, and yet we kind of have this like absorbed from society, this kind of absorbed notion of what success should be, or we take it on from our parents. What do they want from us? What our peers are doing? What does it mean to you, and how can we sort of tune into what it is for ourselves more?
Yeah, I love talking about this. It's something really close to my heart, actually, because we're so often chasing success, but that perhaps doesn't belong to our own definition of success. We're chasing it externally, looking for the validation, approval, trying to control our circumstances externally because we haven't yet got clear on what success means for ourselves. For me, in the past, being really busy I thought was successful, but at the expense of burning myself out and not having time, depleting my own energy and life force, and not having time for relationships and to do the things I love. So I was like, hold on a minute. So when people said, oh, you're really busy with like my clients and with work, I'd be like, yeah, I'm really busy. And I was like, well, hold on a minute. Where's that definition come from? That's not my definition, because I'm burnt out, I'm depleted, and I don't have time for relationships. That's not cool. So my now personal definition of success is that I have the time, energy and resources to do the things I love, spend the time with the people I love, to nourish myself, to take care of I have enough time to rest, to take care of my mind, body, soul, and to do the things that I love, so that I can hold the container to facilitate others in the work that I do. So that's my definition.
Yeah.
And I think how people can find it is it's getting clear on your priorities and your values. And so once you get clear on your priorities, they will be in there somewhere. So for me, mine was health, relationships, and living with passion and purpose. So all of those things are in my definition. I have enough time to take care of my health and for self-care, to nourish myself. Have time to spend with the people I love, doing the things that I love, so that I'm inspired to and passionate to do the work that I'm here to do in the world.
Love it. So good. Yeah, I think again, it's about spending that time just thinking about what's important to us, what really matters, what really is the thing that at the end of the day makes us happy. And often it's not the things that, our parents want for us, or society makes it out, or influencers make it out like those are the things that are going to make you happy. It's actually something different.
And often as well, they might get it, but they still won't quite feel fulfilled, because everyone has their own blueprint for themselves. So they might get it, but they don't feel fulfilled, because it's, in a way, it doesn't belong to them. It's not their own definition. It's not fully in alignment with them.
Absolutely. Oh, this has been so good. Thank you so much for everything you shared. It's really, I think people are going to take a lot from this. Can you just share a little bit about where people can find out about you, if they want to engage with your work or buy your book or work with you? Yeah, where can people find out more?
Sure. So best is email or Instagram. My website is Holistic Body Life. That's with a W, WHOLISTIC, bodylife.com. My Instagram is the same, Holistic Body Life, and you can, best to reach me on email through my website or on Instagram. And my book is Self-Care for Life in the City, which is available online on Amazon, Book Depository, Barnes and Noble, so depending wherever you are in the world.
Amazing. Thank you so much for everything you shared.